direction, and a lot of people who are out busy being great entrepreneurs and capitalists and making money and teaching kids and leading schools, with all of us working together, that's how we got here today. So make no mistake about that. We do have some business partners here. If you're from ViStar, raise your hand. I'm going to run through your names because ViStar is a huge, huge partner. Michael, Angela, Cheryl, Tim. Nope, Tim's from Haskell. But Michael, Angela, Cheryl, I saw Russell. Who else is here from ViStar? Lori, Ted, lots and lots of ViStar finance academies in Clay County. We have one here at this school, one at Fleming Island, one at Middleburg. Just another great example of the way that Clay County has the legitimacy to go get funds from our legislature. Last year, their vice president came to Tallahassee and spoke in front of the Senate Ed Appropriations Committee in order to help us secure funding and kind of drill down on the relevance of career and technical education, of theme-based learning communities, of career academies, all this stuff that we're putting together. That takes people from outside of our organization speaking good on our behalf. From the Haskell Company, we have Tim Mosley. Tim, where are you at? Carrie Thurston from Orange Park Medical Center. Carrie, thank you for being here. Andrea Hepburn, my good friend that I just saw down at Middleburg. Orange Park Medical Center is all over the place doing great things with us every day. Have a few teachers here from our academies. Myra Cassidy, where are you? Thank you, ma'am. Biology teacher here. Christy Fields, medical skills. Just another great example of a partnership we have with Orange Park Medical Center. We have a certified nursing assistant program at this school, a hospital conveniently located across the street, Orange Park Medical Center, where our kids can go over and do their clinicals. We have several of these programs, and when we have hospitals next door to them, that makes it even better. We have one in my hometown at Keystone Heights, and one little doctor on the corner whose whole office isn't as big as this room, but you know, we make it work wherever we are. I was in there getting some blood work done, and the nurse went to poke me in the arm, and there was a couple of students watching. I'm like, let one of these CNA students poke me. They're like, oh, we're not allowed. The Army field medic hasn't broke me. Let the kid poke me. It'll be good for him. But anyway, I guess everybody isn't quite that comfortable. But I am confident in what our teachers are teaching our students, to the point I'd let them poke me in the arm if everybody else would. Yeah. We have some students here with us, and one of them is going to help close us out. But y'all wave your hands. Destiny Childress. She is in the Academy of Engineering, which placed third in the nation, by the way, last year. Julie Deaton in our ViStar Academy here. Julie. Audrey Duke, 11th grader in our ViStar Academy. Where's Audrey? Very good. Bridget Flanagan, ViStar Academy. Ms. Tatina Lopez, Orange Park Medical Academy. Very good. And Robert Williams in our Orange Park Medical Academy. Go Robert. He's dressing the part this morning. Rocking the scrubs. All right. Big, big thanks to our legislative delegation. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to get to this point. Senator Bradley is here this morning, Representative Van Zant, and our third member of our Clay legislative delegation is Representative Cummings, and Senator Bradley will be speaking on his behalf here shortly. We have Matt Brockleman with Southern Strategies. We had a governmental liaison, a lobbyist, if you will, kind of working as the glue to help us keep all this together, help everybody from the very beginning. And I'd like to thank Governor Scott's office, his education appropriation staff, back from September and October, began to work with us and share with us what Governor Scott has shared with the entire state and his priority on putting people to work and jobs programs. You know, and my goals and his are pretty similar in that really all we're asking is that for our teachers to make learning as relevant as we possibly can to help keep our students in school till they graduate with a diploma so that they can go out, earn a living, go on to college, do both at the same time in many cases, which is the optimum outcome, and you know, be tax-paying, good citizens of the United States of America. This is not an overly academic, overly extensive program. This is just good, simple, smart business. We put our kids in school. We expect them to learn good values that are reflective of our community, and we expect them to stay in school till they graduate, and we want them to be participating members in our community. So that's what we're trying to do. It's not overly sophisticated, but that is the theme behind all of this. When kids go to school and they land in Orange Park High School with 1,800 kids, or Fleming Island High School with 2,500 kids, that can be kind of a big community to be a part of it. But when we can further break down those organizations into 300 and 400 students at a time, and wrap in a guidance counselor and an administrator that are around that academy, and they can build meaningful relationships with adults so that somebody makes a connection with each student, and we have a ViStar or Orange Park Medical or a Haskell where there's a business community person maybe filling part of that gap for a professional maybe that student doesn't have in their life normally for whatever reason, and showing them, kind of modeling, role modeling what it is to grow up and get a job, provide for your family. And I'm excited when kids get scholarships to Harvard and Yale, and they do that out of Clay County. And I'm excited when a kid says, you know, really, I want to farm, or I want to be an ag, or I want to be a carpenter, and they move on in that direction. And by letting them know that all of that's available to them, what we're seeing more and more of is kids staying in school till they graduate. Our graduation rate in Clay County, not just due to the academies, we haven't even reaped the full benefit of the academies. We're year 2 into a 4-year wall-to-wall build-out. But the idea of relevance, making learning relevant to each student, keeps them in school. So we've seen a rise in our graduation rates of 9.5% in the last 4 years. These academies aren't a new thing. They're not a Charlie Van Zant thing. This is, again, a group effort, a whole lot of us working together over a long period of time. And as that learning becomes more and more relevant, we're going to see our graduation rates go higher and higher. A lot of anticipation and kind of anxiety about the new assessment system here in Florida. Well, thanks to our teachers, our support staff, you administrators that are leading these schools, guess what? Clay County pulled out an A. And I just bring that up in the context of stewardship also. There's 3 North Florida counties that made an A: Clay, St. John's, and Nassau. But when you look at the property tax base in each of those counties and what they have to spend per student, Clay County has less to spend per student than either of those other 2 counties. So I feel very comfortable, since we are being good stewards of our dollars, earning the A grade at the very highest level of accountability that Florida asks of us, going to our legislative delegation and asking for a little extra help, and an extra $1 million for our Academies of Clay to go ahead and build these things out. So the kind of things that you'll see in our academies are more and more about the themes. You'll see us be able to go out and better outfit the medical academy with the tools and equipment that make it look and feel like a medical academy. You'll see us be able to go down into Middleburg to their Culinary Arts Academy and get the kind of things, the commercial equipment that will be more relevant to these students, so they actually have their hands around things that add meaning to what they're doing. You'll see us be able to go into Keystone High School, where we have a partnership with Embry-Riddle, the blue chip aeronautical academy in the world, is partnered with little old Keystone High School with 800 9th to 12th grade students. That's pretty exciting. When that thing's fully built out, students will be able to do 60 hours worth of college before their parents are on the hook for any tuition, and enter Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University as a 3rd-year student. Now, how many kids from Keystone will take advantage of that? I don't know, but that opportunity is there. We've hung that carrot out there, and we've shown them a pathway to get there with it. I've probably talked more than I should, so I just get excited about this stuff. It's good stuff. We've got some members of the press here. I'll be happy to address any of you further when we get done. But we have 2 members of our legislative delegation. I'd like to ask Senator Bradley to come up and give any remarks he would like to make, sir.
Appreciate it, Charlie. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is, I want to first talk to the students. I tell you, I'm going to date myself. I graduated from Clay High School in 1988, and you know, we did not have quite the opportunities in Clay County schools in 1988 that we see here today with these academies. And I don't say that to complain, because I was blessed and I had wonderful teachers during that time period. But I do say that to say that the economy is changing, and it's tough out there. And we have to have the skills. Our kids have to have the skills they need to be lean and mean and ready to go when they get their degree and get out there in the world and go and get a job and go live their life and support their families. And so what these academies have done is something that you never really saw back in the day, as they say. And that is a combination of our business community with our public sector, with our schools, and marrying those two things together. There was a time period when the two did not mix. The schools taught the kids, and the business community did their thing, and there wasn't a lot of interaction between the two. Those days are over, and they're over because we can't afford for that to be the case anymore. If we're going to give the kids in our community the tools they need to succeed in life, we have to make that marriage. We have to build those relationships, as Charlie was talking about. And Clay County has been a leader. And Charlie, you're right. With our base that we have to do more with less here in Clay County. So getting an A in our district this year, and the track record that we have with our graduation going up is really something to be proud of, because we do more with less here in Clay County. But you know what that also means? That also means that those of us in Tallahassee, we have a great legislative team, Representative Van Zant, Representative Cummings, and I try to do my part on the Senate side. We have to do a little more to make sure that we fill in some of those gaps where we can, because we don't have the property tax base that perhaps some of our neighboring counties do. And we're proud, with the help of Representative Cummings, he can't be here today, but he wanted me to share with you, first of all, his regrets for not being able to be here, but also his pride in the work that the school system is doing and that these academies are doing, because we're setting a standard for the state of Florida here in Clay County. People are watching, they're noticing what we're doing, and they're duplicating it. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be a student in Clay County. But Representative Van Zant, Representative Cummings, and hopefully we can do some good things on the Senate side, really came together to make sure that we got the resources we need, to make sure the academies have the resources they need to be successful. So I want to thank you, sir, Representative Van Zant. I want to thank Travis Cummings, and I see Sandy Matthews here, and Brady, you're here as well from Travis's office. We have a great team on a lot of fronts, but with the school system, listen, if we don't get this right, nothing else matters. We have to make sure that our kids in Clay County are educated, and we have a lot to be proud of. And today's kind of day to celebrate that fact, but also realize that we've got some work to do to continue to grow this vision so that every child that graduates with a degree from a Clay County school has a skill that they can get a job that next day. If they want to go to college, that's wonderful. If they got a skill, if they decide a different path, that they can go and get a job and be a successful contributing member of society. Now, this Representative Van Zant, I know you might want to say a couple of words, if you don't mind, about your thoughts on this. Thanks for your work this session. And I want to introduce my good friend, Representative Van Zant.
Well, some of you might think I'm a plant, but I'm not. He's the plant. But at any rate, I'm so honored to represent Clay County in Florida's legislature. And I'll tell you a story that might help you understand why Charlie feels so driven toward doing this. When he got out of high school, he joined ROTC, came up through the ranks in the military, as you know, flies helicopters, and been to war 3 times, and all of that. But yet, there is this driving concern about what happens to a graduate in Clay County. So he got elected as the school superintendent. The next week I called him, and he's rattled off something. I said, son, where are you? He said, I'm in Nashville. I said, son, you just got elected last week. What are you doing in Nashville? He said, I'm here because they have wall-to-wall career academies. I said, okay. And he said, that's what we have to do in Clay County to be able to reach the kids where they need to be reached, so that all the stuff that we teach them goes out with them into the world around us. He said, we're losing them. And he said, we need to keep them here because Clay County is growing, and we want Clay County to grow with the traditional families that built Clay County. Now that's happening big time. Heretofore, this wasn't the case, but now about 50% of the graduates of Clay County go to college. This Academies of Clay have helped many of them focus on what they want to do. I want to go to a career academy, or I want to go to college. So many of them have decided, okay, I'm going to go to college, and they went ahead and made that commitment. The rest of them make a commitment in a career academy of some sort, of which many students are here representing them today. I thought when Charlie started talking, with all the people that just left to have a baby, that y'all had some sort of academy of allocates. I didn't know, I was waiting on that to come up, but at any rate, the career academies that they do have are so useful in the community. And what I've seen happen here is that the academies themselves, when you have the, oftentimes, I don't know if it's every quarter or so, but invite the business community in and have some sort of gathering and say to them, look, you have a business. We have 17, 18-year-old graduates from Clay County. What would you like a graduate from Clay County to be able to do for your business? And then they tell them, and then they build and design an academy around that. And so Clay County, now has 30 academies. Last year, they achieved some over 1,100, almost 1,200 certifications. And now there is one group that can have a 2-year certificate and graduate into a job making $62,000 a year. That's not bad for the little Clay County, where we've all lived and enjoyed so many years. But that's the Clay County school system we have today. And that deeper, wider breadth of knowledge and the connection of that knowledge with the business community has come through the Academies of Clay. I'm super proud of this. So I'm glad to have been a part of being able to get the money to expand Academies of Clay and finish building it out. Thank you very much.
Okay, some good friends made me a list here. Thank you again, Donna. We've thanked our business partners. We've got a couple of our school board members here and our senior staff. And I got to tell you what a pleasure it is to work with some school board members that understand our kids and what they need. And I'm going to ask our school board member from my district, Miss Betsy Condon, District 3, to stand. She's here with us today. If you don't know her, and Miss Ashley Gilhousen is also here with us today. Our chair couldn't make it today. I was able to see her last night at an event, but our chair, Jonna McKinnon, works for GE Aviation, and she totally gets the Academy concept. So she had some meetings today out at the plant where she works, and she's such a great person. If I can take a minute just to tell a story of why she's just one of my favorite people on the planet. She oversees an assembly line that makes the GE 700 series engine that powers the UH-60 Blackhawk and the AH-64 Apache helicopter. So she's just one of my heroes. I've got to back a lot of days flying those two things out of places none of us ever want to be or want to be again. But that's what she does for a living. So she gets it, and she gets what these kids need to understand. My dad brought up the point about industry certifications, and just to take another moment, and I know, Dad, we're supposed to be humble and the Bible teaches us that, but I'm just so proud of our kids. Our kids have earned as many industry certifications with 36,000 kids in Clay County. They've earned 4 times as many industry certifications as Duval County, which is 4 times our size. Our kids are absolutely knocking it out of the park with industry certs. We're in, I think, the top 5 school districts in Florida of earning industry certifications. And when you drill it down for how many students we have in the high school age setting, which is about 12,000 kids, there's nobody that even can come close touching us. So I see Ms. Stewart, our director of CTE, Ms. Falk, our supervisor of CTE, Ms. Donna Warner, who's our academy coach here at Orange Park High. You guys are the ones that are making sure that we have our master schedules built with the right classes that can earn industry certification money. So that's a huge deal also. And we want to keep it focused on the students, on economic development. So before I call up our student to close us out, I just want to again thank the business community and for the news media that's here and the business community that is here. Please tell our other business partners and our President of Economic Development, Bill Garrison, I don't see him here this morning, but part of the reason we were able to achieve such a substantial amount of dollars through the legislature was when we were going about that appropriation, all our business partners in Clay County wrote letters to the governor's office, the Speaker of the House, the Senate President, the Chair of Ed Appropriations in the House, the Chair of Ed Appropriations in the Senate, letting them know that we had been collaborating and cooperating, that this just wasn't the school district operating in a silo like Senator Bradley said, or the business community, because that is truly how it used to be, but this was all of us pulling the wagon up the hill in the same direction. So absolutely could not have done this without all your help. We do have our Culinary Academy here has prepared some tasty treats for us. So I know a lot of you need to go out and make money as capitalists so that we can spend it here in the government sector educating kids, so I don't want to hold you up. But I would like, Dad, you got something?
Did you tell them the amount that was awarded?
I think so. We received $1 million specific appropriation to Clay County above and beyond the other money that went to any other district. And if you look here, this was the school board's legislative priorities, and the top two legislative priorities with the big red checks are dollars that were brought to Clay County that we very strategically and intentionally asked for, that our legislative delegation and our partner with Southern Strategies helped us achieve. Many, many days for many, many years, we've labored over our legislative priorities and haven't been to get to Tallahassee or have the right people in the right places in Tallahassee to actually achieve them. And I know every time I recognize somebody, I leave somebody out, but I'm gonna ask Ms. Diane Cornegie to stand up. If you don't know her, members of the press, members of the business community, this is our Deputy Superintendent. In her first year as Deputy Superintendent, she quarterbacked this legislative priority list, this relationship with Southern Strategies. She was the one that kept calling me and coming in front of me and saying, we need to say this, you need to go to Tallahassee now and go find Matt and talk about that. And she kept all of that going 360 degrees, because it gets kind of chaotic up there at times. So, I mean, more than any one other person in our school district, I think this money really was an effort of Diane keeping us all focused in the right direction, and Matt in Tallahassee for the entire session, keeping our delegation and others focused. So just so many pieces to this that couldn't have happened without everybody pulling in the same direction. And since I've recognized everybody else, I should say this beautiful lady in the back is my wife, Stephanie Van Zandt, who puts up with a whole lot so that I can be your superintendent every day. And to close it out, I'm going to ask Miss Destiny Childers to come up. She is with the Engineering Academy here. Thank you, Destiny.
I would like to start by thanking everyone for coming here today. It means a lot to the students that are part of the academies. An academy is a home for any student that walks into the doors. I will never forget my freshman year. I've been a part of the Engineering Academy since my freshman year. I was walking around the halls pretty lost. I had no idea where I was going, completely lost, but I had my academy shirt on. 3 students that were older seniors in the academy stopped and helped me figure out where I was supposed to be going. I walked into a family of people that were there to help me, not just administrators, but also students. And that, to any freshman walking into high school, is more than anything that you can give them. Because knowing that you have a structure there to help you is amazing. As well as you get to meet people that are interested in the same passions and interests as you, which is how you create friends. The opportunities that I've been giving through my academy are endless. I've had the chance to go to Washington, D.C. last year for a national competition. We are going again this year. As well as I have certifications in Inventor, and I'm working on my Revit certification. That goes across all academies. Certifications for medical, early childhood are just everywhere. We get college credit as well in several of the academies. I am doing my 3rd and 4th year of the Engineering Academy right now. My 4th year is dual enrollment with Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. It's an intense course, but I wouldn't do any other course. I would plan on attending Embry-Riddle when I graduate, so the opportunity to go ahead and be a dual enrollment student there is something that I would never pass up. One of my really good friends in the academy, his name's Michael. He is a member of the ACE mentoring program. One of our mentors just hired him as a worker in a career field that he plans on pursuing when he's older. He would have never had the opportunity like that if it wasn't for the Engineering Academy. His chance to get hired at an architectural firm when he wants to be an architect was something that the academy offered him that he would have never had the chance to do. And finally, the last opportunity that really stands out to me is the mentoring opportunities. ACE Mentoring is just one club that offers mentoring, but ViStar and several others offer mentoring. The chance for the academies offer us to work hands-on with people in a field that we're interested in and see what that field is actually about is amazing. I came into engineering wanting to be a civil engineer. I had the chance to work with a civil engineer. I definitely do not want to be a civil engineer. So that opportunity to learn what I don't want to do, it's really cool because I now know what I actually want to do, which is aeronautical engineering, which I also discovered through the Engineering Academy. The equipment offered in my Academy is amazing. We have 3D printers, which we use in projects. The most recent project was we created and designed nose cones for rockets, and we designed them on Inventor, and we printed them out on our 3D printer. And then we tested them in our wind tunnel to see which ones would actually work, and then we applied them to a rocket and actually launched the rockets. That was a lot of equipment that we had to go into and use, but it gave us an example of what people actually in that field do. They actually do make test models, and they do that. So having the equipment available to do that was cool, because I don't think I would ever got to use a wind tunnel or ever even see a 3D printer if it wasn't for being in that academy. As well as the softwares, I already mentioned the Inventor and Revit. Revit is the 3D modeling software that we use to design buildings. It's actually what professionals use in the field. So to be certified in something that they use, it gives us a huge step above students looking at other things. It's offered internships and things along those manners that we have been offered. As I mentioned, ACE, it's an architecture, construction, engineering competition. I was a sophomore on the team last year when we had the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. and place 3rd in the nation. I'm in the club again. We designed a Unity Bridge for the downtown Jacksonville. It's displayed in the other room over. We worked with hands-on professionals that mentored us and showed us how to use the program. We use a software that we've never used before. It's not even released yet to architects. It's the newest thing out. And we designed a whole bridge, something that none of us had ever done before. We worked with professionals on traffic studies. We got a whole traffic study on downtown Jacksonville. Things along that manner, things that real life application of what we were learning in class. Something that meant a lot to us as students, because we can sit in class and we're like, this is cool, this is something we're interested in, but are we going to actually use it one day? So it shows us that the programs that we're using, the programs that we get in the academies, we do actually use. Okay, and so finally, the academies give students an opportunity to discover what we're passionate about. If you don't know what you're passionate about, you're not going to be as interested. It makes students want to come to school. I don't want to miss a day. I'm missing engineering class, which is upsetting because that's my favorite class of the day. It's the whole reason why I come to school. So I think by putting the academies in place, it's going to make students want to come to school because it's something that we're interested in.